Solo queue buff? Wasn't that like months ago?
Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe f yourself.
The important thing is that I am following up on this very important research that is definitely a large enough sample size to draw conclusions from. Back before those fancy little solo queue icons came into play, I played 20 games just to see what the vibe was, and the vibe was not so good. So after waiting a bit for my future teammates to adjust to the new and possibly improved solo queue, I hopped back online with the exact same build for 20 more games to see if there really was any difference. Day 1 was... I just don't even... Let's just say that if there were any remaining stream viewers who thought I was good at this game, I held a masterclass to prove otherwise. But day 2 things took a turn for the better and balanced out the incompetence that I had previously put on display. Let's start by looking at the games I threw, sometimes single-handedly ruining my entire team's chances at escape. I guess we'll start with the worst of the worst. A Wesker game on Larry's, a Spirit game on Ormond, Slinger on Wrecker's Yard, and a Nemesis on Dead Dog all featured extremely short chases from me. And let's not forget a lone zombie downing me due to both my extreme lack of situational awareness and my dog demanding that I throw his squeaky toy for him.
It's about the vibe. The vibe has felt fine. It just felt like I suck.
These games are what the young people like to call a skill issue, meaning that no amount of buffs are going to help me when I'm this trash. Then we have the unlucky type of games, where maybe I made a bad play or two, but my team was not doing so hot either. This would include slow gens when I do have good chases, like this demo game on the game, or this night game that took 7 minutes to get the second gen done, or quick chases from my team when I'm trying to do the gens, like this Spirit game on Thompson House or another demo on Ironworks. It also includes, just terrible decisions like everybody immediately dying against a basement trapper on Borgo. Did I make the best play at the end here? No. Was my team already totally screwed? Yes. I'll also include just plain bad luck, like this extremely clutch pain res and deadman switch from Nemesis on the final gen, or just getting noticed while I'm on death hook by this pyramid head. Shout out to this tap though for the extra 30 seconds of chase he gave me. I apologize for not being good enough to make better use of it. But like I said, it wasn't all bad. I had 8 escapes total, which is 3 more than pre-patch, as well as a small victory when I gave a hard tunneling pinhead long enough chases to secure an escape for my 3 teammates. Some of these wins were from not so good killers, some were from good teammates, and some were just from efficient gens. I felt like the icons really came in clutch during hook rescue and endgame situations, like being able to be ready at the gate when you think the last gen is about to pop. Another reason it felt better was because in the first 20 games, I felt like I had really tried my best for only 5 escapes, whereas in these 20, I knew that if I had just played a little bit better, I probably could have had 11 or 12 escapes total. Like I said, skill issue. Finally, the best part of the 20 games was that no one DC'd, which was definitely a new experience for me in solo queue. Well, I shouldn't say no one DC'd, but I think this trickster knew the game was a lost cause. Crazy how when someone doesn't give up at 5 gens, there's a much better chance of escape. Who would have thunk it? But if you don't want to take my word for it,
let's find out and get to the numbers.
In my first 20 games, the maps I played on were slightly survivor-sided on average, against an average killer strength of around C+, according to Otts' tier list. Since win or lose is a bit too RNG based as Survivor, let's go by average gens completed as a stat to measure success, which was 3.85 in these games. Now let's look at the next 20 games, after the solo queue buffs were in place. The average of the maps that I played on were very slightly killer-sided this time, and the killers were still C+ in average strength, but it was a slightly higher C+. And in these games, my team's got an average of 4.1 gens done per game, which may not seem like a lot, but across 20 games I do believe it's a significant improvement. So to summarize, on average I got more gens done against better killers on more killer-sided maps. I'm no statistician, but that seems like a pretty good improvement to me, to which I have to say, you done good behavior, you done good. The final eye test is of course playing killer. There is some very old data released by Behavior that said that over 50% of matches are solo queue players, and while I have no idea if this is still true, my matches have honestly felt a bit harder lately, especially with survivor coordination in unhook and endgame situations where I think the icons help the most. And killer mains, if you're wondering why I would be happy about solo queue buffs if they make harder matches for me as killer, the reasoning I use is that the sooner solo queue escape rates can match up to pre-made team escape rates, which Behavior has said are about 15% higher, then the sooner we can start buffing killers accordingly. In theory. Whether that actually happens remains to be seen, cause the survivors didn't seem to like the proposed healing changes too much. All in all, I'm happy with this update, and most happy that Behavior was willing to accept that solo queue needs a bit of help in this current teamwork and chase-based state of the game, as opposed to wanting to keep it more of a lone wolf hide-and-seek style game like it was on release. Combine this with the recent meta shakeup that encourages teamwork a bit more, as well as weakening 3-gen strategies, boosting hit and run builds, and nerfing dead hard, I'm hoping they can bring it all home with a strong anniversary chapter, and remind everyone why they're the only asymmetrical game to have an active player base for longer than 3 months. I know what killer I'm hoping for. Clown 2, baby, that's right, now there's 2 of them, but this one has a rune halberd?